GRIMORA.
Snow settled quietly across the town square, softening the stone steps and the narrow paths that led toward the old church at the center. The building stood with its doors locked and its windows dark, the final Christmas Eve service having ended hours earlier. Most of the town had returned home, leaving the streets empty and still. Liam Foster stood across the road near his parked car, watching the church from beneath a street lamp. He had stayed late to help clean after the service and had stepped out only minutes ago. The cold followed him closely, settling into the open space between buildings. Above the church, the bell tower rose against the low clouds, its shape barely visible. At 11:14, the town clock chimed from a building several blocks away. The sound echoed faintly and faded. The church itself remained silent. The bell ropes inside had been tied off after the service, secured according to routine. Liam knew this because he had checked them himself. He turned to leave, then paused when he noticed a light inside the church. It was faint and low, not enough to illuminate the interior fully. It came from somewhere near the altar, a steady glow like a single candle left burning. Liam watched it through the stained glass window, its color muted by the snow and the thickness of the glass. He crossed the street slowly and stepped on to the church grounds. His boots left clear prints in the snow, the only marks on the path. The light inside did not move. The doors remained closed. At 11:27, a sound carried through the square. It was not loud. It came as a gentle vibration through the air, low and controlled. A bell struck once. Liam felt it more than heard it. He looked up toward the tower. No movement showed there. The bell inside should not be able to ring without force applied. He waited. The sound came again, identical to the first. One clear strike, followed by silence. Snow continued to fall, filling the spaces between the steps and along the stone walls. Liam stood still, listening. The faint candlelight inside the church remained steady. He moved closer to the main doors and placed his hand against the wood. It was cold, as expected, but beneath it, he felt a subtle vibration pass through the structure, fading as quickly as it arrived. At 11:42, footsteps sounded inside the church. They moved slowly along the central aisle, measured and deliberate. Liam could hear the spacing between each step, evenly timed, yet the sound carried oddly, as if the space inside absorbed most of it before letting a trace escape. He leaned closer to the door window and looked inside. The nave lay in shadow. Rows of pews stretched toward the altar. No figure moved among them. The candle near the front still burned. The footsteps stopped. A few seconds later, the bell rang again. This time, the sound was slightly stronger, resonating through the tower and into the square. Snow shifted from the ledges and fell in small cascades. Liam stepped back from the door, heart steady but alert. At midnight, the bell rang 3 times. Each strike came with equal spacing, slow and intentional. The sound traveled across the empty streets, touching buildings and fading into the snow. No other bells answered. After the 3rd strike, the church doors unlocked. Liam heard the mechanism release from inside, followed by the soft creak of wood shifting. The doors did not open fully. They remained closed but no longer secured. Footsteps resumed inside, moving toward the entrance. Liam watched the door handle turn slightly, then stop. The candle near the altar flickered and went out. For several seconds, nothing moved. Then the footsteps turned away, retreating back down the aisle. The doors locked again. The bell tower fell silent. The light inside the church did not return. Snow filled the churchyard evenly. Liam remained where he was until the town clock advanced to 12:07. No further sound came from the building. The air slowly warmed, returning to its earlier state. In the morning, the church appeared unchanged. The caretaker found the bell ropes tied as they should be. No candles were missing. No signs of entry showed on the doors. Older records mentioned that decades earlier, a caretaker had remained inside the church one Christmas Eve to finish evening prayers after the congregation left. He had rung the bell to mark the hour and never left the building. After that winter, some residents claimed the bells rang again each year after the church closed, repeating a vigil that had not been completed. Each Christmas Eve near midnight, when the square emptied and the snow fell quietly, the bells rang again, not to call anyone inside, but to mark a presence that stayed behind long after the doors were locked.